Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Coffee with Katie. So today's video is going to be the worst books that I read in 2022. Yep. So I know some people get upset when you talk about books you didn't like or things you didn't like about books, but we're doing a best video, so we're doing a worst video, which means I gotta talk about the worst books that I've read last year. And I'm only doing books that I rated 1 or 2 stars. So there's actually 9 books, so it's not even around 10. I know that's gonna bother so many people, it kind of bothers me. But I'm just gonna kind of go through these books to give you a little bit of thoughts about them. We're not gonna stay here too long, but just kind of wanted to give you a rundown of the worst part of my reading year and a little bit of why. The first one is the first book that I read in 2022, and that is As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. This one just made me really sad. I really didn't like the direction the book went. I know some people, I think it's Meg with the books, was saying that she loved this book, and I like gasped and was like, what? And she liked the twist, she liked the way the author went, and I did not. I was one of the ones that did not. I didn't appreciate it. I felt it was out of character for Pip, and I felt like that's not what she would have done. It was not smart. I think if you had done that in real life, you would have died, and I think if you're in that situation, you should call the police, and that should not be what you do. So I was kind of frustrated about how the story went and the open-endedness of the book. I know you can be like, okay, this is what happened, this is what she's inferring, but I just really didn't appreciate that it went down the way it did. So absolutely that one. Next one is gonna make people mad, and that is Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. This is the third book in the Throne of Glass series, so not like Assassin's Blade, that's before the series, but the third book in the series. And I have not really liked Throne of Glass. I didn't like the first one. I really hated the second one. And then I got to this one and I've heard it gets better after Heir of Fire. Heir of Fire is where it turns around. And while there were some aspects of Heir of Fire that I appreciated, like Abraxos and Manon and a little bit of Rowan, I really hate Selena, and I've really not enjoyed the series, including this book. Even though it had more elements that I did enjoy, I really don't like it. I really didn't like it. It's really sad because I really like ACOTAR, and I was hoping that I would like all of Sarah J. Maas's books, but that's not the case. I do not like Throne of Glass. I don't understand the hype. I don't get it. My friend has told me that I have to continue the series because it gets better. And I will, because I've told people I will give it a chance, and I will probably read it until completion. I don't know if I'll read Tower of Dawn, and I don't know if I'll read Assassin's Blade, but we'll see once I get to the end. But regardless, I just really didn't enjoy this. I feel like the plot is just being dragged out for so long, and there's no need for it, and I'm tired of whiny babies complaining about who they are, not being able to use their powers, just having so many issues. I'm just annoyed. I don't know why, because I feel like that's very common in Chosen One tropes, but this one's just grating on me. I don't really appreciate it. I like that we're building more characters now, but I feel like, from what I understand of just like fan art or different things that I've seen, that there's several more characters and perspectives that we're going to be getting that they're going to have to build backstories for. And so I feel like this is kind of one of those things that's long for no reason. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I will love it in book 4. I don't know, but I didn't like this one. Despite there being dragons, the dragons actually saved it for me and didn't make it a 1 star. This is probably a horrible time to talk about this one because this next book just came out, but I really didn't like Cruel Prince by Holly Black, and I know Stolen Heir just came out. And I'm gonna continue the series, and I'm probably gonna read Stolen Heir. But why? What's the hype for this? Tell me. I need to know, because I really didn't like it. It was a bully romance, but I wouldn't even say it's a romance. It's just like people bullying Jude, and then her having enough of it, and still getting bullied, and still getting pushed around, making some complicated political moves, but also being a teenager, so I don't think it's actually possible for her to out-thwart all of these fairy politicians that have been scheming for their whole lives. And Cardan kind of being like, I hate you because I can't stop thinking about you. I don't know. I didn't get this. I've heard Wicked King is better, but I've heard people hate Queen of Deathing. I don't know, but I didn't like it. I will continue to give the series a chance, and if I regret that, I'm coming for all of you. Just kidding, I won't, but if I will try again. But why do you like this? Please tell me. Next may upset some people, but I'm pretty sure most people agree with me on this one. The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley. Why did you do this, Lucy Foley? I feel like I read the guest list, right? And I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it. Some people hated that book. I didn't love it. I thought it was okay. I wanted to know what happened. I feel like she just took that story, twisted it around a little bit, and then it came out as the Paris apartment. I felt like it wasn't actually unique, and it wasn't actually that twisted. It was just that she took a premise and a bunch of characters with similar stories, backgrounds, problems in the first one, made it the second one, changed a couple of things, and that was it. I don't know why I feel that way. If you could argue with me, I'm sure, and point out that that's not necessarily the case, but that's how I felt. I felt like she was writing the same characters and just changing a little bit so it's not the exact same, and then making it a whole thing. I don't know. I didn't like it, and I'm probably going to stop reading her books now because I've read 2 of them and haven't been the biggest fan, so why would I continue? I think I get sucked up in the hype sometimes, and like wanting to try new releases, wanting to try the hot new book and see if I like it outside of my usual genre, and then I usually don't. So I don't think I need to read any more of Lucy Foley's works. I think that's it for me. Not a fun time. Oh, by the way, these have all been the 2 stars. We haven't gotten to the 1 stars yet. I will let you know. Next is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. I really didn't like this book. I was shocked. I can get behind these like fantasy romance things. I like a lot of them. I dislike a lot of them. It just depends, but like I'm not against it. I do like some of them. I'm not like a hater. I like fantasy, so if fantasy also has romance, cool. This is kind of painted more as like a contemporary. It's not. No, I don't know if you could say that. Anyway, I thought I would like this. Hades and Persephone retellings are fun. Or can be. I think they're fun, I guess, in theory. I love Lore Olympus. This is not Lore Olympus. I thought I would really like this. I thought I would be obsessed. I thought I would really enjoy it and fly through it, and it would be really cool. I like Greek mythology. I thought I'd be all about it. I hated it. I guess I didn't hate it. I gave it 2 stars, but the romance was gross. I thought the spice was too much. There was just like nothing else it felt like in the book. The relationship I didn't get behind. I wasn't rooting for. I didn't really like. I didn't care for. There was a lot of this. It was just ridiculous. I didn't like it. And I don't understand why other people love it so much, but I may continue. I bought the first 3 books in a bundle used, so we'll see. But like, I don't even want to keep this. Like, I want to get rid of it. That's how much I really didn't care for it and was really disappointed by it. I do think it's cool that the gods in this are portrayed by having horns, like literal horns. And they glamour themselves to where you can't see it, but I do think that's kind of cool because it sets them apart. That's the only part that's cool. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if you love this. If you love this, I'm so happy for you, but I was so disappointed and like, why did somebody do this to me? The next one I can't find at the moment, but that would be The Bright and the Pale by Jessica Rubinowski. This was a fairy loot book, and it was in my Sprayed Edges shelf, so it was one of my Sprayed Edges challenges to get it read, to read some of my backlist, and read the book box books that I do acquire over time and not just letting them sit there. I was really intrigued by the premise of this. Basically, her entire town was frozen, and she was the only survivor, and then her only best friend that she's had since then, she's in this like crime syndicate, is kidnapped, and she's basically told, if you want to see this person ever again, you have to complete this mission into these mountains that houses a creature to try to get something. So she's like, yes, I will join this mission. It's very cold. It's like Russian folklore inspired, which I thought was so cool. It's snowy, it's blizzardy, it's just very, very cold. It was so boring. It was so boring. There's like things happening, but they're just basically on this quest that's boring. The things that happen are boring. I didn't care about the relationship. I didn't care about the characters. Like literally nothing about it. I did not like it. It's a duology, and I thought about maybe continuing, but I don't think I'm going to. I think this is it. I think I'm done because I just really didn't enjoy it. Even the stuff that happens at the end was like kind of interesting, but not enough for me to even really care. There's like a god or something. I don't really know, but the twist at the end and the cliffhanger or whatever was not even enough for me to care enough to finish another book. It's just a duology. It's not that hard. I won't. I really didn't like it. It was just so boring. So I'm glad that I gave it a shot, but no, thank you. I think that book almost single-handedly put me into a reading slump also. The next one would be What Lies Beyond the Veil by Harper L. Woods. Wow. That book was disappointing. Again, kind of like A Touch of Darkness. I thought I would love it. I thought I would love it way more than A Touch of Darkness. I thought it would become a favorite. I thought I would really like the series. I thought I would blow through it. It was so trashy is not the right word, but it's what's coming to mind. It was so trashy and crass, and I felt like there wasn't enough established about the relationship you're supposed to be rooting for to care about it. It just felt like they were lusting after each other and they didn't really care about each other. And I know you could say that about other books too, but it just felt off to me. It felt like coercion a lot of the time, assault a lot of the time. It felt like all they did was talk about each other's bodies in a very like degrading way. I really didn't like it. It was really off-putting to me, which was upsetting because the world was kind of cool and I'm kind of interested to see what happens. I don't know if I'll give book 2 a chance because it was so off-putting. Yeah, that one was disappointing. Now we're in the 1 stars. There's only 2 in this category, which is surprising to me. Maybe I was being too generous with the 2 stars, but we are now at the 1 star category. First on this list is Shadows of Kiev by Eliza Tilton. I hated that book. I got it for free on Audible to review. I listened to the whole thing. The writing was really stilted and awkward. The only part of the writing that was good was the character Cole, which I said this before and I stand by this. If she writes another book and it's more focused on Cole, I will read it because I enjoyed Cole. But my enjoyment of Cole was not enough for me to rate this higher than a 1 star. I'm sure people like this. I don't get it. It was pitched as like a Viking-inspired novel with magical creatures and zombie Vikings. I was so down for that. Zombie Vikings? Are you kidding me? No, it was not good. It was not good. The writing was stilted and awkward and didn't flow well, except for Cole. The premise wasn't that interesting, despite what I just told you about the zombie Vikings. The journey seemed weird and convenient. There were a lot of things that just like fell into their laps that should have been difficult and like horrendous and horrible, but weren't. Again, the only parts and twists and whatever I liked about it was the part with Cole and the main female character, who I can't even remember her name right now, to be honest, because she has to make a deal with him. And that was the only part of it that was fun. Cole is a Leshy, which I thought was cool. And the only enjoyable part of this reading experience for me, and it was still a 1 star. And last and least, of the worst books that I read in 2022 was The Never King by Nikki St. Crow. This was a dark fantasy romance. I thought it would be really cool. It is Peter Pan inspired, and I thought that idea was really cool of like an adult Peter Pan kind of being this like dark king character. Sounded really cool, right? Wrong. If you liked this series, I'm so sorry. This is assault. I don't think there's another way to put this. This is assault. It is a very short book, thank goodness. Nothing about this is worth rooting for in the relationships. It's kind of a reverse harem. I was not prepared for that. But it's a reverse harem in a way that it paints it in a way that she does want this. The main character does want this, but it's assault. And it was disgusting. And it was very off-putting to me about the way they treat women, about the way they treat her. I really didn't like it. Had the spice element been completely absent of this book, I think I would have liked it, because they are very dark characters. But I didn't. And even though these books are so short, I was thinking about finishing them because there is a small twist at the end that I was actually intrigued by. And I am debating forcing myself through the series, because I do have book 2. I bought them at the same time, and book 3 just came out. And I thought that was the end, but there's not. There's going to be at least a book 4, and that might be the last one. And I don't know if I can push myself to read 4 books of this. I don't know if I can do it. I don't think I can. I may read the dark one and see, because the dark one is more about Vane, but if I feel the same way in the dark one as I felt about this, if I can make myself get to it, I will be done with this. I want to yeet this out of my house. Like, I was so disgusted and frustrated with this book. If you like this, again, no judgment, no whatever, but I was horrified and really, really found this upsetting. Don't read it if any of what I just said resonates with you. So those are some whirlwind, ranting thoughts about the worst books that I read in 2022. Feel free to argue with me or agree with me or just talk about it in the comments with me. And hopefully I have a better reading year in 2023. But as for now, that is it for today's video. Please like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I will see you next time. Stay safe and caffeinated. Bye.